Okay, folks. So managing our thoughts, it's so important at this time. So what I've done, folks, is that I have developed what's known as a daily thoughts tracker, and I have currently put this on my website. So my website is mymanagementforyou.com, and when you go onto the homepage on the right hand side, you could download a free copy of Managing Your Thoughts Daily Tracker, and I'm going to go through with you how this can help you. So for example, okay, so you've got your Manage Your Thoughts Daily Tracker, and you have date and situation. So something might have happened, you might have watched a lot of the news, and this might be spiraling your thoughts out of control, and one of your thoughts might be, I won't be able to cope. So we'll just use that as an example. So let's imagine that a negative thought is, I won't be able to cope. And then the question asks from, how do I feel from 1 to 10? So again, you're scaling this. So you're thinking about this negative thought, you're thinking about, just kind of exploring this thought. And then, first of all, you're becoming aware of how this thought is impacting on you. So you ask yourself, how do I feel from 1 to 10, fearing the worst? And you might think, wow, if I'm thinking I won't be able to cope, I might be thinking 8 or 9, really not coping. Then you can ask yourself different questions. Now, some of these questions may be useful for you. Feel free to change them and to alter them, to put in questions that are relevant for you and your thoughts at that time. So if we're looking at, I won't be able to cope, this next question asks, am I blaming myself for things that are out of my control? Well, yeah, because a lot of this situation is out of our control. Is there any evidence to suggest that my negative thought is not true now? Well, actually, that would encourage you to think about, were there other times in your life when you felt that you weren't able to cope? And actually, did you manage to find a way through? Did you get through it? And there'll be a lot of, situations and experiences just to remind yourself that actually you have coped in other situations. Will this thought matter in 5 years' time? I mean, like other things that we've had, swine flu and other sort of viruses, things like that, that hopefully in 5 years' time that this will be under control, and that, we'll be worried about some other stuff going on. So I suppose when we look back on this in 5 years ahead, hopefully that thought of, I won't be able to cope, well, will it matter? No, because obviously you've coped. So sometimes when we can think ahead, it can again just create that lovely, perspective, and just kind of remind us that life will go on, that this is a temporary situation. If the negative thought is true, what can I do about it? So this is thinking, okay, so if let's say that you imagine I won't be able to cope, and let's say you really believe that this is true, and you ask yourself, okay, what can I do about it? Well, what you can do is you can talk to a friend about your thoughts, about your worries, about your concerns. You can talk to a professional like myself or other counsellors and work through exactly what's behind I won't be able to cope, to break that down. What is that exactly, so it doesn't feel so overwhelming, and it puts you in a position where, yeah, okay, when I break this down, actually, if I take this step by step. Folks, I have to laugh because my cat is trying to come in to my office cabin. I'll just ignore her for the moment and keep going, but she is quite persistent. Okay, then this question, folks, as a counsellor, this is something I come across so many times. Am I being too hard on myself? Yeah, absolutely. And if so, why? That we're all in this together, folks. There's a lot of this that is out of our control. We've never been in a situation like this before, so we're learning how to cope as we go along. Well, okay, if my friend or someone I loved had this thought, what would I tell them? So this again is offering you to look at this situation differently. So to imagine your friend was saying, you know what, I don't think I'll be able to cope. Think about what you'd be highlighting to them. And that's what this is about. It's about putting things into perspective and just learning how to reassure yourself, folks. Then it asks, what can I choose to think now that puts my negative thought into perspective? So you might decide, do you know what, I'll deal with it as it comes. And then it says here to read through your answers a few times, and in rethinking your negative thought, how do I feel from 1 to 10? So again, you're scaling it. And like everything, you know, folks, it's practice with this, is that the more you kind of challenge their thought, so rather just believing that that thought is fact, you know, a lot of times it's an opinion, and actually sometimes we kind of don't give ourselves enough credit. So, and again, this is all about practice, folks. So it is about kind of going through it and just practicing this, and especially if you're the sort of person where the glass is always half empty, you know, that it is about practice and just challenging those thoughts. The other thing that I would say as well is that with this, and obviously having been through depression, that, you know, that for some people you'll be able to apply this and be able to reframe your thoughts. But for those of you that, you know, are going through a depression, sometimes it's almost impossible to apply this because the depression can be too full on. And as well as that, sometimes behind depression we have what's known as self-sabotage going on. So it may feel just too difficult for something like this to work, and that's okay, you know, that's where you're at. And that's why I would recommend then, you know, speaking to a counsellor, you know, voluntary counsellors, private counsellors like myself, just kind of to get that help with the deep-rooted stuff, so that kind of gets you in a position where you can apply stuff like this and reframe your thinking.
Come on.